Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Fall 2024 New Jersey Film Festival Filmmaker Q&A series. Today, we have two wonderful guests from a wonderful film that we're going to be showing as part of our festival, which is taking place between September 6th and October 18th. And there will be in-person screenings as well as online versions. You want to get complete information, you can go to our website, njfilmfest.com, and click on current events, and then click on where it says Fall 2024 New Jersey Film Festival. And you've got to hit that red button, because that red button that says tickets, schedule, info, that will open up our large Eventive website, because we are partnered with Eventive as our streaming provider. And you can get complete information there. I'll show you how to do that at the end of the program. But I wanted to introduce you to the guests that we have today, the director and the writer, co-writer, Nadia Zoe, who's below me, and Ramon Torres, who is the writer and star of A Little Family Drama, which is a wonderful independent film that has come out of California and is making the festival rounds. We're very proud to present it here for the first time in New Jersey. And welcome, you guys. It's lovely to meet you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Oh.
Yeah, you know, I love your film because it's very intimate. It's actually a family drama, and it focuses on a Mexican-American family that's going through some turmoil. It also has three levels of generations, right? We have the grandmom, the mom, and the daughter, all part of this family. They own a restaurant, and there's some major issues going down with the restaurant. But before I ask you a little bit more specific questions, tell us about how this film came to be. Nadia, is it your baby? Ramon, is it your baby? You're both the co-writers. How did it come to be?
It's a mix, but Nadia, go for it.
No, you should start because it originally originated with Ramon.
I had met Nadia while I was acting in New York, and I did a couple of her acting program classes at Columbia, and we hit it off really well. Sorry if you hear my dog. And we ended up producing a short called Mariachi Madness, which was sort of the inciting inspiration.
The seed that made the tree of A Little Family Drama come to be. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
How long ago was this? I mean, when did you guys meet?
Oh, geez, like close to 10 years ago. It's not quite 10 years ago, but it's close to 10 years because I would think I was in my first year of
I think so.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wonderful. You don't know Zach Morrison, do you, Nadia? He's one of our Rutgers grads that just, I think he got his MFA maybe 4 or 5 years ago. So maybe you guys missed each other.
We might, I mean, he may have come in towards the end of mine. I mean, it sounds somewhat familiar.
Yeah,
But
we get a lot of people coming through our festival. I mean, the fact that it's been in existence for 43 years. I mean, Marty Scorsese is a fan of our festival. He came and he did a benefit for us about 30 years ago. And we've had that kind of connection with the big names, but we really, really want to promote films made by up and coming filmmakers as well as somewhat established filmmakers to help them along. And so my next question to you is, okay, so the film is your baby. How difficult was it to come and have this all come together? Like, where did you shoot it? The house that you use, the restaurant that you use, were these easy places to secure?
will happen very quickly and not quickly at the same time. Uh, I think really at the end of the day, we got very lucky. I think it's because we were very passionate about something and we had at the core of it, a very heartfelt story. And so people really did support us and really were wanting to help us. Talking about luck, the house we found through, I think, like Airbnb, and they had never had a film crew, and they had literally just posted. And I think like Mike and I were scouring for places, and I think I remember I ran across this, and they had terrible pictures because they literally just posted, and I was like, Mike, I think this is the place. Like it looks terrible, but this is the right type of terrible. I mean, it ended up being fantastic, obviously, but And so like, because they were so, I think because they were so new to that idea, they were like, yeah, come on in, let's bring a film crew in here. And of course, we made sure that we were very kind to their house and took great care of it because we didn't want to soil that for other people or spoil that for other people. And then the restaurant, Ramon, do you want to talk about the restaurant? I don't remember how.
Yeah, sorry, everything's going wrong today. My music in the Sonos just turned on. The
Can't hear it. It's sweet.
Perfect. The restaurant actually is one of the oldest restaurants in and around Alhambra, which is an area in Los Angeles. We were looking at a restaurant near the Hero location, the home, but it just didn't work out. We took that as an opportunity to kind of expand the range and locations. I think we had a list of about 20 restaurants we were going to reach out to. But obviously, as I'm sure you're aware, everyone in LA always shoots in a Mexican restaurant. And so the moment you say we'd like to film, they think you're a studio movie and they're charging, $10,000 for the day. So
Wow.
we kind of took, I think we were 2 days at the restaurant. Once we found this one, it was a little bit farther away from where people typically film, but it was great. And it's actually new management. They have speaking of family restaurants, they have another restaurant, and this is their second one. And so we got very lucky. They were super open to letting us take over the entire restaurant for those couple of days. And I think they think that working with films at our scale is what the norm is. So I'm sure they'll be interested to see what it's like to work with very, very large projects at some point.
Yeah, so your crew must have been relatively modest. I mean, you worked with Travis Labella, who did a great job as your DP. And I think the film looks great. It looks like millions of dollars. I mean, I don't usually ask what budgets are, but it seems like an A-list picture, A- picture. It's not, a Christopher Nolan film, but at the same time, I think it's a warm and friendly film where you get to be with this family as they go through major trials and tribulations. And I guess my question for Ramon is, how difficult is it for you to be in a film that you write? I mean, is it easy to kind of
I
write for
think Nadia
yourself?
knows this of me. I don't like
I was
memorizing.
gonna say also one other thing is that he's also producing as well. So
Right,
let's
right,
let's,
okay.
let's add that other layer onto it because that is definitely a big part of that. But yeah, continue. Sorry, Ramon, didn't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I don't like memorizing. I'm not good at it. I've tried all the mnemonic devices, and as an actor, it's not very. It takes me a long time. I think it's because I have some form of ADHD, so I can't stay still.
Mm.
But writing, I think, is and Nadia was great at this. She kind of let me have the text for my character sort of consistent, and I'll explain why in a bit. But the ability to know who the character is and take parts of me and put them in makes it a lot easier for me to, when I'm on set and things with the production are happening or something else is going on, I can flip pretty quickly. Whereas if it wasn't my text, and I wasn't so familiar with the story, it'd be really hard to switch and kind of stay within whatever space I needed to be as the performer.
Right.
But it helped a lot when I think it was like week 3, an actor tested positive for COVID,
Oh.
and so Nadia had to rewrite the script, and I was like, just make sure you don't change any of Matthias's lines because I won't memorize them.
I think that did
Well,
happen a couple times where I changed his lines and he was like, I'm not gonna say this. And I was like, well, just say this, like we would have a lot of negotiations on set or finding like common ground. Because I think what is always important to me as a filmmaker is collaboration. And I love collaborating with Ramon. I love finding other people to have on set that are open to collaboration and love to have that. So even though I have that relationship just with Ramon established, I like to create that as well with the other actors. And of course, everyone is different. Everyone has their own temperaments, and there is as all things with collaboration, it is all finding the middle ground. So it was very fortunate that we were able to create that with everyone. And of course, Travis and I have collaborated before, and so we were very fortunate that we had done some of these things before, so everything went a lot faster between us.
Yeah, it makes all the world of a difference when you have a kind of team that you can work with and you feel comfortable with. That's one less hurdle to overcome. But
Oh,
you do have some other really, you know, name actors like Alma Martinez. How did you find the rest of the cast? How did that come together? How long did it take?
yeah. I don't remember how long casting took, like maybe a month,
Hmm.
a month and a
Yeah.
half between,
Yeah.
the initial casting and I mean, so, you're dealing with a couple different things. One, I was established in New York, I'm established in New York, so you're doing a lot of Zooms across,
Right.
the casting is happening a lot of remotely. Also, because we're coming out of COVID, so, you're still doing remote casting. So, we just got very lucky and once again, with these fantastic actors, and I think also having well-rounded female roles.
Hmm.
They were, and especially roles for older women that were needy. I think like, Alma was, really was definitely willing to jump into that. And so
Yeah.
was Romy, which unfortunate does not happen all the time. But so I think definitely we also got lucky with that. But our casting director, Lisa Zambetti, was really incredible and came with a lot of people that she knew and really did a lot of recommendations, and we were very lucky to have her as well.
And
Well,
I think
yeah, I'm
Alma
sorry.
was
Go
the
ahead, Ramon.
I think Alma was the first person we locked in on
Hmm.
um, pretty quickly. I mean, she was great.
She's
She was
definitely great. I think
amazing.
the
Yeah.
entire ensemble is wonderful. I also really liked the gal who played your sister, who plays Cecilia. And I found out she's not related to you, but you both have the same last name, Diana Torres. She's really great too. I mean, you can just go down the list, and uh, I think the entire cast comes together really well. There's nice chemistry, even though they're at odds with each other. Marissa is also really great, and gosh, I can't remember the gal who plays uh, your mom,
Romy.
Romy. Yes, Romy. She was really good too. I think that the, the
Romy's
whole
fantastic.
the whole cast really makes it and sells the film for you guys. And I think the opening scene with the taco truck is just brilliant. Also, I think it sets the tone for the rest of the film. But were there any other challenges besides dealing with COVID and having to find locations? Were there any major challenges that you had in making the film?
I I think the biggest. What were you? Well, I have one.
No,
Go
no,
for
go
it.
ahead. You
Sorry.
start. You start.
I think the biggest challenge was Nadia and I had set up the expectation that we wanted to make the production not only inclusive and diverse, but also a fun place for people to come to work. I think at this level, independent film tends to be grueling 14-hour days for everybody. You have G&E people leaving at odd hours of the morning. And there's a trade-off between treating people with respect and grace. And then there's the trade-off is you get pizza every day, and we just got to get this because we don't have a lot of money to shoot this. And I think Nadia did a great job of setting kind of the culture at the beginning. Even though we were a small budget, we fed people. The commitment was 10-hour days that includes breaking up and loadout. And
Mm.
so I think that made a big difference, especially when on the last day, second to last day, I think we lost a card
Oh my
and we
God.
asked people for some grace, and everybody kind of jumped in to kind of help because they cared about, they respected the process, and they respected us, and they respected oh yeah, that's a great background. So I think that was one of the challenges. It's not usual for films at this scale to say we want to have some normal hours of working.
I
Yeah,
think,
I mean, we had, oh, sorry, but yeah, we
go ahead.
definitely had, oh, so yeah, so we actually had like, yeah, a lot of we also said no overnights. We said 5-day work weeks. We were making sure that we, were being kind to people. And also at the same point, you're still working, you're still doing like a 15-day shoot, or 16 days. So with the amount of, I wouldn't say necessarily script, but really, I would say intricate script work we
Mm.
had to do. That was very tight. But so I think one of the bigger challenges beyond just time in general was, of course, just creating that intimacy. How do you create that type of on-set intimacy and also relationship between a family when you have no time to create it?
Mm.
And luckily, I was given one day of rehearsal. So I spent that one day really focusing on shared stories and, the foundation of where these relationships began, instead of, focusing on just the script. Which then, of course, led to, me being open to ad-libbing on set a little bit, being looser with the dialogue. So, and I think that was going to the part of the collaboration, is really having these characters these actors take ownership over their characters. And I think that really helps, especially when you're going into a family film. If they don't feel it, of course
It's
that
gonna
happens.
show. Yeah.
It's not, yeah, it's going to show. And of course that partly happens, when you're doing casting, you just kind of have to go over your gut, because
Mm.
unfortunately you're not doing screen tests, you're not being able to get these actors together a lot. So it does come out a lot of your gut instincts of what these people are going to look like. But yeah, we could go on forever about challenges.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I think that somehow it reminded me a little bit of a film by Alfonso Arau called like Water for Chocolate, because food is so important in your film. And there is a kind of magical realism. I mean, the two gals behind us are the scheming daughters that are, going to spike the soup. And, so I think this kind of magical realism with food is, I mean, I wanted to eat Mexican food after I saw this film. So was that something you wanted to stick out? Obviously, I think it does, but how difficult was it to craft these beautiful dishes and have the food available? And did you feed the staff some of this stuff too?
Well, we did have fantastic food on set.
Mm.
But when we actually shot the film, none of the food looked good at all. In fact, it looked really terrible.
Mm.
Which is, I also edited it. So while I was in the editing process, I was like, oh my gosh, we really needed to have a food stylist on set. But, when you're talking about budget, your production design department is maybe one or two people. So they
Yeah.
also don't have that skill set of food styling. So we did what we possibly could, but then we realized we did not do enough. So we were fortunate enough to do 2 days of reshoots where we were able to get back in the restaurant, and Ramon and I became food stylists. And
That's wonderful.
Travis was very kind to come on for 2 more days to help us do that. But I think when you're doing something when you have a restaurant and you have a family dinner, food is important, just because it is kind of the foundation that you have conversation over, even
Yeah.
though it just kind of plays as kind of a side, a sidekick in a way,
Mm.
but it does very much become part of it and feed the fire that is, people's anxieties and things like that, because it just becomes something that you can just do with your hands or things like that. It keeps you active. So I think in that sense, as kind of a mechanism,
Mm.
I feel like that's where food really serves us in this. And that's really where I wanted it to be.
Yeah, I think it was a great idea. I mean, it was crucial to make the food look good. So that was obviously a smart move to reshoot it. I think I didn't know that. I mean, it looked like it was seamless. So kudos to
If you see it again, you'll notice that the tablecloth is not the same.
different. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we couldn't find.
I watched it twice. I didn't see it. So
Yeah,
at
no, I
least
think
that
you
it's good.
honestly have to watch it more than that, because sometimes I don't even notice it. I mean, it's so faint.
Yeah.
I hear you. All right, folks. Well, it's time to share screen and show folks how they can buy tickets to our screening. So let me do that. I've done hundreds of these Zooms and I'm still a little rusty, but here we're going to share screen and we're going to do this. Normally this is our website. And if you guys come to the screening, this is the site itself in the background. It's a university lecture hall. It's attached to the Zimmerli Art Museum, which is the University Art Museum. We're a block away from the New Brunswick train station. So we have other locations we could have used, but I love this one because it's a 250 seat theater that I helped renovate because it was an old Echo box. And now it's got soundproofing, stadium seating, cushy chairs, high definition projection, a good sound system. It's got to be upgraded to 5.1. It's still only stereo, but it's a nice place and we're really proud to have it as home. So when you get to our website, which is njfilmfest.com, you just click on current events. It'll bounce you down to this site. And this is just a placeholder. Pre-COVID, everything was here. But now that we're partnered with Eventive, we use that as the main website. So you absolutely must push this button, which bounces you to our Eventive website. This is the catalog page. The best place to start is to click back to festival site, which gives you basic overview information. And there's 5 buttons you need to absolutely push that I'll show you what's behind them in a second. But this is where, basically you can find directions to the site. You need to register your vehicle if you're going to park in one of the university lots. It's free, and it has our staff and sponsors. This is just a welcome page. Then if you click the schedule page, it has a linear version of the schedule. Each screening is divided by a red line that tells you if it's online only or online and in person. We didn't have room for a lot of films and we wanted to squeeze some in, so we're doing some online only shows. But if you work your way all the way down to the bottom, on Sunday, September 29th, we'll be showing this film online for 24 hours for New Jersey residents only, and then in person at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And so you can go back up, click on tickets, which is our catalog page. And this is where you would actually press locations to buy tickets for the actual screenings. And then you can also go back up to festival site and go to the film guide, which tells you a little bit about all the films, and you can click a little family drama. And it says no showing scheduled. There's a glitch there, but we'll take care of that. That's a little embarrassing. And then we go back to the schedule page and back to menu, to the welcome page. And if you want to buy an all access pass, you click on that. That gives you half price off all of the programs. It's a really great deal. And if you want to come and check out the movies, that's where I would recommend you go. I'm going to stop sharing and say that the programs are all $15 each. So if you do the math, there's about 15 programs. And if you buy the festival pass, it's about half price. So it's a really great deal. So I want to say thank you to you guys for joining me for this half hour to talk about your wonderful film. And I look forward to meeting you. And I think when you come to the screening, you'll have the opportunity to do a Q&A with the live audience as well. But this is meant for the folks who are only going to watch it online, and also to interest people in coming, because I think it's a great film. Everybody should see a little family drama. It's what indie films should be, made with a lot of love. And it just kind of oozes that throughout the whole movie. So I hope you can come and join us. Thank you so much, Nadia and Ramon, for hanging out with me for half an hour. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was great meeting you.